Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/Am I the Butthole, where we get to decide if someone was wrong or not. Now I know you all want to get straight into the stories, so let's do just that and get straight into this first one by user/pure signal. My wife and I bought a house a couple of years ago. It's a decent sized yard and we even have a couple of chickens. This is Los Angeles. We have 3 boys, 6-year-old twins and a 9-year-old. They're kids, they're loud, not screaming loud. They love playing in the yard and playing at the park literally across the street. My next door neighbours complain all the time about the noise level in the yard and at the park. They're this boomer retired couple with kids my age, mid-30s. Actually, most of the neighbourhood is like that because so few people, especially with kids, can afford a house in that area, so it's a bunch of retired boomer snitches with ring and security cameras at their front porch. And they designated my neighbour as the block cop. The funny thing is that the kids are hardly home. They're in school most of the day and have sporting practices and games on the weekend. I tried to reason with them, but they feel that because they live in their house for 40 years, that we have to follow their rules as their next door neighbours and keep quiet. I have no sympathy for them. These are people who bought their sizable home for $40,000 in the 80s, and if adjusted for inflation, it's like buying the same house for $125K. But it's a house in LA, so it's more like $1 million. My wife and I make good money, but our mortgage is astronomical. We're working much harder than our neighbours ever did. Yesterday, our neighbour came to our door and asked and complained again about our kids being loud. Not too loud, just loud. At the park. Per the other neighbours who lived across the street from said park. Then he lectured me about my logic of moving to a quiet area with loud kids. If that wasn't bad enough, he suggested that my wife and I look at homes by the ocean because you don't have neighbours to the west of you. Houses by the ocean are like millions of dollars. I asked him how I would do that, and he said that wasn't his problem. So I told him that he should move out of their house and move to the ocean where he won't have neighbours. I caught some flack for being rude to an older person, but I don't think I was. Now, I'm finding it quite hard to pass judgment on this story, but what it seems to me, it's not about the kids anymore. Both OP and their neighbour, they don't like each other and they're just spewing hatred at each other, and I want to say ESH because both of them look like they're being complete buttholes to each other and just making each other's lives miserable. And here's our next post by user/Vuck64. I'm currently working as a self-employed software developer, to be more clear, as an app developer. I often have had private clients since I'm quite cheaper than most of the other devs out there. Currently, I'm working for a middle-class family who wants me to develop an app. To pay me, they'll have to spend most of their savings, around $15K. The problem is that the app they want me to develop is awfully stupid. They're 100% certain that this app will work and bring in quite a lot of money. It won't. I'm not allowed to tell anyone about the app, but trust me, it really won't get any attention. To top the stupidity off, they even told me that the younger sister, around 15 years old, will do the online promotion, since she's spending a lot of time on social media and will know what works. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but this family is literally throwing away their money. Yesterday, I told this story to my friends at the pub, and some of them said I was awful for doing this, while others said it's my responsibility to do the job as good as possible, but not to save the customer from himself. From my point of view, it's not my responsibility to question how good or bad an idea is, but to make sure it's as good developed as technically possible. For example, if I drive a really nice car and want a workshop to paint it in 5 ugly neon colors because I think it'll look great, I'm responsible for my own, in this case, stupid decision. It's not about the workshop to tell me that they won't do it because it won't look good. Some things I want to add. I have never ever told them my opinion about this success potential of the idea. I have never said anything like, oh yes, I'm sure this will repay you good, and so on. I always wanted to understand what their wish is so that I can implement it as good as possible. I think everyone is responsible for their own decisions and it's not up to me to judge them. I feel quite bad working for them knowing they'll lose their money. I'm also a human being who needs money to pay for rent, food, and electricity. So Reddit, am I the butthole because I did not refuse to work for a stupid idea? Look, OP, the only thing you can really do is offer your opinion or not offer it at all. It really is your choice. I'm gonna say not the butthole because you were hired as a developer and that's what you're doing. You're developing an app for them. You weren't hired as a consultant. You weren't hired to make this app successful. You were hired to build this app and that's all you're doing. So I can't really blame you. And here's our next post by user/gottausethrowaway1. Am I the butthole for kicking my daughter out and sending her to live with her dad after she engaged in passionate hugging on my bed? I won't go into the sordid details. She's an older teen and has had lots of issues since she started high school, mostly stemming from rebellion, I think. Her father always played the Disney dad role because she only stayed with him every other weekend, plus the summer and holidays. So discipline was solely on me. She's 18 and a half, but hasn't graduated high school yet and has no real plans with respect to work or college. She would have already graduated, but that's a whole other story. What I mentioned in the title was my final straw. I trusted her to leave her alone, but ended up coming home early when my plans got ruined last minute. I was hanging out with a group of friends, but the host kids got sick, so we all ended up leaving early. So I walk in on my daughter, in my bed, with some guy I don't even know. I told her I've had it and she's going to live with her dad. That means she's either going to have a 45-minute commute to school or transfer. I don't really care which at this point because I am at my breaking point. If her dad can't take her in full time, she can go live with friends, I guess. But I'm not planning on giving financial support. My ex and I had a child support agreement that ended at 18. No caveats. Am I wrong for reaching my limit with this extreme boundary cross? My sister thinks I'm being harsh. I said in that case, she can take her. But at this point, I feel like I'm done. Now, I'm finding it quite difficult to think about what to say, so I think I'll go down into the comments where user/327sk provides a very good and professional opinion. I know I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but ESH. Mental health professional here who works primarily with adolescents. What she did is pretty blatantly disrespectful. Don't get me wrong, and I know you said she's been rebellious throughout her teenage years thus far. But kicking her out is a one-way ticket to resentment and a potentially broken relationship for the rest of her and your life. It is totally detrimental to a child or teenager to feel abandoned by a parent. I've seen this happen too many times. Is there any possibility that your daughter may have an underlying mental health condition? 8 times out of 10, this is a case to at least some extent for kids and teenagers who are seen as acting rebellious and engaging in risk-taking behaviors. I would consider family therapy with the two of you and individual therapy for your daughter to figure out what the root of her issues may be. If anything, it would be an effort to improve communication between the two of you and be a safe place to talk about boundaries, conflicts, and etc. with a mediator. I feel for you, OP. I know you're at your wit's end, but I hope you two can work to mend things. And OP does provide an update that her daughter has moved in with her father full-time and she hopes this will give her a good, fresh start and maybe help her daughter. And here's our next post by user/KCMOCats. My wife and I live in a very walkable area. We were walking to lunch the other day and noticed a few reward posters for a lost cat. We were talking about the lost cat as we walked because we have a few cats and always joke about how we're crazy cat people. We're in our 30s. Well, sure enough, we see this cat just sitting on the roof of a car and it looked just like the one in the reward poster. I walked up to it and it was super nice. I took a pic of it and then walked a block back to the poster to compare. It was the same cat. We went back and got the cat. It was real nice and let me pick it up. It just cuddled up. I think it was pretty scared. My wife called the number on the poster and they gave us their address and we walked the cat 4 blocks to the house. As we were walking up the sidewalk, the kids in the house ran out and screamed in a happy way and grabbed the cat. The parents came out and thanked us for returning their cat. The mum had tears in her eyes. As they were walking back inside, I said, "Oh, I noticed there was a $500 reward. Would that apply in this situation? If not, I totally understand." The dad just looked at me with daggers and the wife looked real confused. She said in a kinda condescending way, "You really want us to give you $500? I said, "I'm not trying to be awkward or anything, but you did offer a reward and we did find your cat." The dad said, "Jesus, hold on. and went inside and got $320. He comes back outside and says, "All I have is $320 cash on hand. I can get you the rest if it's really that big of a deal to you." I said, "No, that's fine," and he handed me the $320. As they walked back inside, the wife said under her breath, "I can't believe they took the money," and the husband said, "Yeah, what a jerk." They clearly said it loud enough for me to hear. My wife is totally on my side. We live in a pretty affluent area, so $500 or $320 isn't a big deal to these people. I mean, they had 2 Mercedes in their driveway, nor is that money a big deal for me. However, they did offer a reward and we did our part. I told my friends at lunch that day, and half think it was right to ask for it. The other half said I should have just done the right thing and not asked for it. And an edit, my wife's and my parents think I should have just given the cat back with no reward. They think I was totally the butthole for asking for the reward. Am I the butthole? Come on, I think this is just silly, not the butthole. If you offer a reward, you should be willing to pay it. Honestly, I feel if you just hang out a missing cat poster, people will be more than happy to bring the cat back if they found them. But if you offer an award, you gotta pay it. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos every second day. But with that said, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.